to you by
Flamingo Paint, superior
Hello and good evening. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Onuyusabata Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I'm Alfred Okanse. Tonight, the long-anticipated legal battle between and over this SML controversy has finally begun as case officially kicks off. We tell you how this unfolded as the accused persons were put before the courts earlier today. Stay with us. We've got details for you. President Mohammed's request to have the NDC MPs withdraw the draft bill seeking to scrap the office of the special prosecutor has sparked debate over possible executive overreach. We'll delve into that matter tonight. Stay with us. It's all joy for Okada riders tonight because Parliament passed a law to legalize their operations, but there still remain concerns about potential road safety risks. And we're going to tell you, we have this and more, including a very unfortunate development earlier today. There was an attack on a court in Kwame Danso. Kwame Danso is a community in the Bono East region. We'll tell you exactly what happened because we have the police commander in the area is going to be joining us to give us an update of what's going on right now. So you're an integral part of the conversation. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Connect with us and let's get talking. Let's start off with Ghana Briefs.
Accused persons in the over 1.4 billion SML-GRA revenue assurance deal have pleaded not guilty to various corruption and corruption-related charges brought against them by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The High Court granted the OSP's application to serve summons on Kenneth Nanaya Oforiata and his Chief of Staff Ernest Akori, who are currently out of the country. The court also admitted Emmanuel Kofinti, Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, Isaac Rental, Ivan Seduse, and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited to 50 million cedis bail each, with two sureties to be justified. The Deputy Minority Whip, Habib Idrisu, has criticized President Mahama for asking two MPs to withdraw a bill they are drafting to abolish the office of the Special Prosecutor. Speaking on the floor of Parliament few hours after the statement from the presidency, Habib Idrisu denounced the move and described the action as executive influence on the legislature.
Mr. Speaker, because of the inadequate releases of Parliament and the executive want to control Parliament, now the President is dictating to members of Parliament. When the Majority Chief Whip and the Majority Leader file or intend to file a private member's bill, the President is telling them to reduce it. Why? Their oversight, their rule as members of Parliament. Because of what? To withdraw. We have the official letter from the Presidency to the members of Parliament. But he has instructed that you should withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the executive have no authority to dictate to what happened in Parliament.
Parliament has passed the Road Traffic Amendment Bill 2025 to legalize and regularize the operation of motorcycles, tricycles and quadricycles for commercial purposes. The new law has amended the Road Traffic Act 2004 at 683 to provide for the limits for the determination of alcohol concentration in drivers. It develops standards for seat belts and other safety equipment to reduce the age restriction of commercial drivers and to provide for motor vehicle emission testing. The Chief of Defence Staff, Lieutenant General William Ajapong, and the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohonu, have issued a strong warning to criminals ahead of the festive season. Stay off. The security leaders say they are fully prepared for any eventualities as the country heads into the Christmas period.
This exercise that we have conducted today is very good for us to prepare the ground and also to give assurance to Ghanaians that we are ready to protect them throughout this Christmas and beyond. This is also to send a strong warning to the criminals, wherever they are, that will go all out and make sure that it will be very uncomfortable for them to operate during this period of time.
The Vice President, Professor Nana Jean Opoku-Agyeman, has received her fellow Vice President from Colombia, Francis Elena Marquez Mena, who is on a 3-day state visit. The two leaders expressed a shared vision for mutual progress and growth.
There are avenues for cooperation in several sectors, including education, agriculture, cultural exchange, trade, tourism, multilateral engagements, and others. Colombia stands to benefit from our dynamic investment landscape and growing markets in agriculture, energy, and services. Ghana particularly values Colombia's enduring support for the teaching of the Spanish language in Ghana. And I was asking that we expand that part to send teachers of English from Ghana to Colombia too.
As more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. As always, probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray and Call, Tum Tum Preco. Coming up next, SML case showdown begins today. As accused persons face the court, here's how it all unfolded. We'll give you some details as we have it. The accused persons in the SML GRA revenue assurance deal have all pleaded not guilty to various corruption and corruption-related offenses or charges brought against them by the state, led by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now, the High Court granted the OSP's application to serve the summons on Kenneth Nanaya Oforiatta, who is out of jurisdiction. Essentially, what this means is that that trial in absentia that many had been calling that should be considered is one that, we will see it playing out now. But his chief of staff, Ernest Akore, both of them are out of the country. The court also admitted Emmanuel Kofi-Nti, Reverend Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, Isaac Krenchel, Ivan Seduse, and the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited to some 50 million. That's 50 million bail each. 50 million bail each, with two sureties to be justified. Now, this is the scope of the OSP's case against the accused persons. Now, we're going to show you right now when we talk about the scope, and because we're having quite a number of charges, a plethora of them, and Kenneth Furiata and all the others. And this is it. Let's put it on the screen right now. It tells a story. The prosecution's case is that the accused persons, Kenneth Furiata, Reverend Amisha Dai, Emmanuel T, and all the others, engage in this scheme to improperly secure procurement contracts for SML, resulting in financial loss exceeding 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. They are also accused of influencing the procurement process for unlawful gain and using public office for profit. Further billions of dollars were expected to be paid for the intervention of the state. Now, the case has been adjourned to 17 December 2025 for Kojo Damwa, a member of parliament for German South, to appear and take his plea after the court declined prosecution request for a bench warrant. So, in fact, earlier today, the prosecution, the case, that's the Office of Special Prosecutor, was asking for a bench warrant for them to be able to, as it were, serve Kojo Damwa as a member of parliament. And you know how this has played out over the period. Manasseh Asuri-Awuni has been consistent questioning some figures that the OSP put out regarding this same SML deal. Because remember, all of this started with him. It's an investigation that he conducted that led to that audit that was conducted by KPMG, and then the recommendations to the then president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, cancelled all other portions of this SML deal except one which was left. That is why this talks about the state intervention in there. As to exactly how much that it would have cost the state has been one major area of debate between Manasseh Asuri-Awuni, that is the chief witness in this case, and also the OSP. My colleague and also our legal affairs correspondent, Sixtus Don Ulo, he sat through this case in court earlier today. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Sixtus, appreciate you. Now, tell us exactly how it played out in court earlier today. The mood in court, and the first time all these persons who are being accused by the OSP, except Kenneth Furiata and Emmanuel Kore, were in court. Tell me exactly how it played out. So if you could unmute for me. No, we unfortunately.
Am I clear?
Yes, perfect. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So, Alfred, the anticipation was thick in the air. The courtroom was packed. This is a case that a lot of people have waited with bated breath for it to start. And so you could tell, at least from the faces, the look on the faces of the lawyers representing these accused persons, from the interested individuals or ordinary citizens who also showed up in the courtroom, some with ties to the accused persons, others also just out of curiosity who showed up and tried to also understand what exactly was going to happen in court today. And so you could see on the faces of a lot of people that they were there to as we say in the local parlance, for the gist. And you could see on the faces of the lawyers that they meant business. And Alfred, this is one case, maybe owing to the level of public interest in it, that has the special prosecutor himself personally leading the charge. And so he led a team of lawyers to appear in court this morning to start proceedings. And so the tension was there from the faces of journalists. Also, you could tell that, well, they may have covered so many cases in court, but this is one particular case that a lot of the journalists waited for so long to cover. And so I want to believe that there's a long way ahead of us. But you started off by talking about a plea that was given when you mentioned that the plea of all of them was taken. Well, let me just quickly correct that before we proceed. You would recall that 3 individuals were absent in court today. The first is the first accused person, and maybe the most important person of interest in this whole matter, the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. The second is his chief of staff. You rightly mentioned his name, Mr. Ernest Akora. And also, you have the 6th accused person, who is a sitting member of parliament, in the person of Kojo Damwa. These 3 individuals were not in court, and so the court did not take their plea. All the other 5 who were in there, the 4 artificial persons, plus the company, SML itself.
No, that's right.
They...
I can hear you.
Yes. So those ones had their pleas taken. We know that the court is supposed to reconvene on the 17th of December when the plea of Kojo Damwa would be taken. Now, the absence of Kojo Damwa in court was one that sparked lots of legal arguments.
Yeah.
His lawyers started off on the point of protest, as they described it. And their protest was hinged on Article 117. Now, Alfred, you are familiar with the provision of Article 117 of the Constitution 1992. It is that famous provision that grants immunity to members of parliament.
True.
And I must qualify that active members of parliament or sitting members of parliament from service on them of criminal or civil processes, whilst they are on their way to attend upon parliament or from parliament, or generally in the discharge of their duties as members of parliament. So the protest was hinged on this. And the facts surrounding that, according to the lawyer, was that the client had not been properly served. And the reason he said that was that Kojo Damwa was in parliament on the 9th of December when he got a call from the office of the special prosecutor to appear before at the office of the special prosecutor. Reason was not stated according to the lawyer. But then when the Kojo Damwa appeared at the premises of the special prosecutor, there was a court bailiff waiting there to serve him with the hearing notice. Now, you would note that the hearing notice is also this important piece of paper that will tell you that, Alfred Okansi, you are to appear before this court on this day at this time to answer to 1, 2, 3 charges. And it is that piece of information that will alert you that there's a proceeding against you so that you can appear and adequately present your defense to whatever charge it may be that is against you. So where this is absent, then a critical part of the criminal process is called into question. And that was the premise upon which the lawyer for Kojo Damwa, who is a sitting member of parliament, made the argument that as a member of parliament and founded on Article 117 of the Constitution 1992, there are protocols that dictate how a sitting member of parliament should be served processes. And basically, these processes have to go through the parliamentary service so that they are onward then relayed to the member of parliament concerned. And you would recall quite a number of examples that came up where this provision was tested in the past. But the special prosecutor objected to that, and his objection was also hinged on the foundation that, indeed, Kojo Damwa plus all the other accused persons are out on bail. That would be with the exclusion of the former finance minister and his chief of staff.
True. But you
That
see,
they are
there was
out.
one point that you just made, and we got notice that the special prosecutor was asking for a bench warrant for that
Yes.
is the MP in question.
Exactly, and that is the point I was going to make. When he gave the explanation as to why the submission by lawyer for Kojo Damwa was not tenable in his words, he said that the accused person was out on bail. Indeed, all the other accused persons who are within the jurisdiction and who were before the court, they are out on bail, and part of the conditions of that bail is that they are to present themselves before the OASP at any given time that the OASP calls upon them. It would not matter where you are, what you are up to, or what duties you are discharging. Once you are out on bail, and that is a condition of the bail, you must respond to the special prosecutor anytime you are called upon to do so. And
Right.
so, based on that, Kojo Damwa could not have argued that he did not know about the summons to appear before the court today, could not have argued that he was discharging parliamentary duties as a member of parliament, and could not have argued that he enjoyed immunity and so should be exempted, or the service was not properly effected, so should be excused from court today.
Right.
And on that basis, the special prosecutor argued that they were minded to ask the court to issue an arrest warrant for the arrest of Kojo Damwa. But that probably did not play out long, as the judge, in his infinite wisdom, whilst ruling on this legal argument, stated that it is not in dispute that Kojo Damwa is a sitting member of parliament. And the provision is also clear. Article 117 is also clear.
Okay.
That is also not in dispute.
Right.
Now, what should be a question to answer would be whether or not indeed on the 9th of December, when the OSP called upon Kojo Damwa to appear at the office of the OSP, whether or not Kojo Damwa was in parliament, number one, or he was he went to the office of the special prosecutor from parliament, or whether at all he was even discharging a duty or any duty at all as a member of parliament,
Okay.
for which reason he could claim immunity under Article 117 of the Constitution.
Very
And
important.
the court looked to the special prosecutor to provide some evidence otherwise. So the direct question that was put to the special prosecutor was whether he had any evidence that showed that even though Kojo Damwa is a sitting member of parliament, and notwithstanding that parliament is in session and indeed sat on that particular day, which was a Tuesday, that Kojo Damwa was not present in parliament.
Right. Okay.
In which case, it could be argued that he was not called out of parliament, or he was not returning from parliament or attending to parliament to then claim the immunity provided for under Article 117.
So, which date has this case been adjourned to again, quickly?
That would be the 17th, the 17th of this month.
17th of December, well, which is some 6 days away from today. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. Six Don Olo is our legal affairs correspondent. 17th of December, he's going to be in the same, in the court where this case will be heard. And so we'll get the same comprehensive detail from him. That's our legal affairs correspondent at Six Don Olo there. But here's what happened. Because the court closed late, the bail terms will take effect on Monday, the 15th of December, when the accused persons return to complete the bail procedures, as we do know it. Until then, they remain on their existing OSP bail terms. That's what Sixtus also gave us earlier today. But there's one issue that caught the attention of many, and Sixtus referenced it. The special prosecutor himself was in court. He led the entire process of the prosecution. But when he got out, the cameras, obviously, followed him. because there's been a lot of talk about him over the past few weeks. That's the man, Kessie Jabeng, the special prosecutor, out of court today, surrounded by quite a number of bodyguards, straight into his car, no media talk or interviews earlier today. Well, as it is, it was also one that caught the attention of the president, because yesterday, if you recall, and that's coming up next. Let's stay a bit further with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, not the person, but the office, and that's coming up next. President Mahama's bid to halt the OSP scrapping bill sparks debate over executive overreach, and we're going to break down the matters to you tonight. Let's start off first with yesterday. The president shared his view on a matter that has been topical in debate over the last couple of weeks. That is whether or not the Office of the Special Prosecutor is still relevant in the framework and the architecture of the fight against corruption in this country. The former Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Professor Aaron Michael Quay, has shared his view. Said this outlived its usefulness. The current Speaker of Parliament says, you know what, it was even unconstitutional in the first place. Well, we've had divergent views on this matter. But President Mahama yesterday had this to say. Take a look.
So that's why we're resourcing the Economic and Organized Crime Office and the other anti-corruption institutions, including the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And recently, there have been some controversy with the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I think it's premature to call for the closure of that office. The unique thing about that office is it is the only anti-corruption agency that has prosecutorial powers to be able to prosecute themselves without going through the Attorney General. And so people had mistrust with the Attorney General because the Attorney General normally is a member of government and is a minister of state. And so they believe that the Attorney General will be very reluctant to prosecute his own. But if there's an independent office like the Office of the Special Prosecutor, it won't matter who you are because they have security of tenure and they have prosecutorial powers, whether you're a member of government or you're a member of a previous government or you are anybody who has, misappropriated public funds. They have the law is behind them to be able to prosecute you. So I think we should give them a little time. Of course, people want to see, more prosecutions and more results. And so I'll just urge the OSP to speed up, some of these investigations and, show people that the office is still very relevant.
Well, so that's the president then yesterday. Then today, earlier today, this statement came through from the presidency. Phyllis Kwachofosu is Minister in charge of Government Communications, and this is it. He says President John Dramani Mahama has requested the majority leader, that is Mama Yarga, and the majority chief whip Nelson Roxon Dapamepo in Parliament to withdraw the private members' bill tabled for the repeal of the act establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor. If you recall, yesterday we spent quite some time getting into that draft bill, which is sponsored or was sponsored by the majority leader, Mama Yarga, the Bako Central MP, and Nelson Roxon Dapamepo, the majority chief whip for this OSP to be scrapped. That's the Office of Special Prosecutor to be scrapped. Now, the president says, you know what, I appeal to you, withdraw it, or I request that you should withdraw it. The president's request followed, and this is the statement that came through, reading it verbatim, follows his recent public expression, which was what we just played to you, of support for strengthening the Office of the Special Prosecutor as a vital institution in the fight against corruption, made during a meeting with the Peace Council yesterday. The president also reiterates his call on the Office of the Special Prosecutor to enhance its efforts to boost public confidence in its work and to tackle corruption decisively in line with the objectives that inform the establishment of the office. So the request was qualified. Yes, withdraw this bill, but then again, I'm also make this call to the Special Prosecutor. Enhance your efforts in the fight against corruption to boost public confidence for you and your office in tackling corruption decisively in line with the objectives. So that's what the president is saying right now. And this generated some debate on the floor of Parliament earlier today. And the Honorable Habib Idris also had this to say about the president's request for this private member's motion to repeal the OSP, that's the Office of Special Prosecutor Act, to be withdrawn. Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, because of the inadequate releases of Parliament and the executive want to control Parliament, now the president is dictating to members of Parliament. When the majority chief whip and the majority leader file or intend to file a private member's bill, the president is telling them to reduce it. Why? Their oversight, their rule as members of Parliament. Because of what? To withdraw. We have the official letter from the presidency to the members of Parliament. But he has instructed that you should withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the executive have no authority to dictate to what happened in Parliament, Mr. Speaker.
That's the Honorable Habib Idris there. So, yes, there's a request. He says that in his view and his understanding, this is interference. It's actually, he says the president is telling MPs what to do. Phyllis Kwachu also responded not too long ago. He says, and I quote, the president has not issued a directive, but a request. It is true that the principle of separation of powers ought to be respected, and the president respects that. But these are members of his party, the NDC, and on almost all issues, we tend to find a middle ground and consensus. So there's nothing wrong with engaging for further consultation to arrive at a common decision on a particular matter. So that is, it says, it does not mean the president will get up and direct Parliament on what it should or should not do. This is Phyllis Kwachufos, who says there is nothing wrong with engaging for further consultation to arrive at a common decision on a particular matter. Professor Inokenchi is a governance expert, is joining us. Prof, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Alfred, and greetings to all your viewers everywhere in the world.
Which side of this debate does your pendulum swing? Is it the position that the Honorable Habib Idris takes that this request amounts to some level of interference? Phyllis Kwachufos says this is not an interference. These are members of the president's party. He's making a request to them for further consultation, for some middle ground. What's your take?
Alfred, I'm standing on the middle ground for the sake of our viewers, then they can make a determination. Because if you do a research, you leave the information for different audiences to interpret it the way they want. Now, let me begin by saying that there is differences in opinion, and that is very important because they contain information. And that is why you saw what is happening in Parliament. But knowing why something or someone is different is generally more important than knowing how they are different, although knowing how they are different forms the basis of our motivation. So I see the letter from the president as a motivational knowledge from the angle of governance. And this is why I say so. Request is not an order or control of the executive. So it's just a request. And if you look at the dictionary meaning of a request, it says that asking politely or formally. So the president have asked politely, and that is what has been affirmed by Ofosu Kwakye, that there should be a middle ground. So this is not a command that I need you to, or I expect you to, or I command you to, or I direct you to. It is I request you to. And if you look at the content of the letter, it's very simple. The president is requesting the majority leader and the majority chief whip to withdraw the private member's bill that has been tabled for the repeal of the establishment of the OSP's office. Now, if you look at the Act 2017, Act 959 established the OSP. So there are two ways we can take off the office of the special prosecutor, and let's always delineate the office from the special prosecutor. And I've heard many people saying that there's nothing wrong with the office, it needs to be strengthened. But the problem is the special prosecutor who has not lived up to expectations of Ghanaians. And I agree with that kind of angle. of debate. So the president asked him for a couple of things. That one, he has gone public already. So the letter says that the president has had a public expression of support for strengthening the OSP after meeting the Peace Council. And because of that, there's a fight against corruption. Now, this is the trick. I can say that the opinion of the opposition is a trap for the NDC. Why do I say so? Because NDC is committed to fight corruption and cannot move an office set up to do so.
I see. But then again, I mean, it goes without saying that it was going to be a very slippery road, is it not? Because then yesterday, as of yesterday, these were the positions. The president had made this appeal that in his view, expressing his view about this, that he's not for the scrapping of the OSP, he's for the strengthening of it. Then just around the same time when he was talking, we got notice of this draft bill sponsored by the leader of his party in Parliament and the chief whip of his party on the other side. I mean, it was definitely going to be a slippery path, is it not? And so how do you go on achieving the middle ground and then also ensuring that this does not send different or wrong signals?
So the president has shown leadership by appealing to the other side, which is the other arm of government, that yes, I know you are sponsoring this bill, but I have already gone public with my commitment to support and strengthen that office. So I am respectfully requesting that let's have a middle ground. It is too early, because I heard him speak about that. It is too early because the Office of the Special Prosecutor has these prosecutorial powers. They can prosecute others. And because people want it to be different from the Attorney General's office, because the president appoints the Attorney General, he thinks that if we strengthen this office, and if the leader, because there's nothing wrong with the car, it's just the driver that is the problem.
Okay.
If we remove that, then that will solve the problem. After, don't forget that the OSP is not out of the wood yet, because besides this Parliament private individual initiative of the bill, there's also individual citizens who have also petitioned the president, and the president have already forwarded 3 of those petitions to the Chief Justice for advice.
Okay.
And we know that Pebu is also going to send another petition to the president.
Good. On that point, because you mentioned Martin Pebu, you did not know that he was actually listening to you. He's joined us on Zoom right now. Martin Pebu is private legal practitioner. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Now, yesterday when I spoke to you, you were of the view that even though it was a slippery path with Nelson Rastor Dakwa and then also Mama Yarga on one side and the president on the other side on this matter of whether or not the OSP, that's the office, should still remain, you wanted the two sides to play out till the end. So you wanted this bill to play out till the end in Parliament. The president has made this request that it should be withdrawn. How does it get to you?
Yeah, so it's a bit surprising. Surprising because, I think we're all gearing up for the debate because, you see, at this stage of our national development, I think we are now coming to terms a lot more with the importance of the diversity of opinion so that we'll let the debates flourish so that we can get something out of it. Because I know some people who had said abolish the office, others came and said let's strengthen the laws on bail and then do further amendments to the act, etc. So for me, the MPs who are the representatives of the people coming into the debate was going to enrich it. But now that the president has made this request, though it is couched in the form of an appeal, we all know that if those MPs don't heed the president's call, they could face consequences. So effectively, it means that the debate has been truncated a bit. But see, in the same letter, he says that they should look at how strengthen the office, and that's very key. They should look at how to strengthen the office. That's very key. And also the OSP should, be more proactive and do things that would make it relevant. So I'm interested in strengthening the office, that bit. To put it another way, we need to amend the law because the law currently gives too much power to the special prosecutor. And, absolute power corrupts absolutely, like we've seen the SML case. Once that case concerned Ken Ofori-Atta, who is this in a relation to this President Akufo-Addo. So you see that the office itself has been designed to make corruption flourish. The act itself, the way it's been designed, it makes corruption flourish. So it is not fit for purpose. We now need to redesign a new act altogether. And one of the main things, you remember from the oral days, when we started the oral committee hearings, and then people opened my eyes from the kind of information they brought us. Then I started saying, no, this OSP Act is not fit for purpose. It is fostering and festering corruption. Fostering
Counsel,
and festering
on that
corruption.
point,
So we need
you see, you referenced the last part of the statement that the president reiterated his call on the office to enhance its efforts in the fight against corruption. Which aspects of the act should be amended to achieve this objective, from what you say?
when you bring in a petition, it should be reviewed by at least 10 people, so that the aim of that will be that it will be far more difficult to influence all 10 people, and not just underlings, very serious and senior persons, where the risk of influencing all the 10 will be very high. Because for one special prosecutor, he has friends, he has relations, like Kissi Agyapong is shown, and so let's not make that mistake. Not every special prosecutor will be in the mold of Martin Amidu. No. So let's redesign the law to take care of people who are not so strong, but somehow would become special prosecutor. Then number two, the appointment process. Instead of the president just handpicking, we need to redesign the law in such a way that the interviews for the nominations and interviews, the president will not nominate anybody. I mean, it will be open to the general public, all right? And then there will be screening. And after the screening, there will be interview broadcast live on major networks, right? And then the best candidate chosen. And then the president would be compelled to choose the best that is presented. So effectively, you take the appointment power from the president. You see, so that is also one huge area for change. Then also the reverse burden. We'll change the law. We are going to do Sankofa. In the 60s, we had a law such that when it comes to corruption, if we found anything that's beyond your income, like the current Article 286 Clause 4, then it becomes your burden to explain. If you cannot explain how you got it, like the way Cicely Adapa couldn't explain, then it will be termed corruption. Yes, even though currently, if you cannot explain, it can be termed money laundering. Nothing stops us from expanding it to also include corruption. And then maybe too, we should consider making only the receiver of the bribe culpable. So Mr. Okansi, touch wood, if I brought you 100,000 Ghana, me the payer, in order to encourage the payer to reveal or to blow the whistle, I should be left go scot-free, and then you, the receiver, you would be in trouble. So it means that if anybody is bringing you money, you say, hey, master, why do you want to put me into trouble? I won't take your money. You see, so we need to redesign the law. This law is not fit for purpose. That's the Office of Special Prosecutor Act 959.
Right. Well, Martin Kpebu, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much for joining us with your thoughts on this matter. Professor Enoch Antwi, thank you. I know that this matter is also going to be tabled for discussion tomorrow morning as you join the rest of the team on this. But thank you for your initial thoughts on this as well. Professor Enoch Antwi is a governance expert joining us. Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner as well. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And we got notice that earlier today, Martin Kpebu submitted his petition to the president regarding the special prosecutor Kissi Agyapong. So coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, Okada riders are celebrating as Parliament legalizes operations, but road safety fears linger. Well, that's the development and today, earlier in Parliament. This is how it played out, and Parliament earlier today approved the Road Traffic Amendment Bill 2025, giving legal backing to the commercial use of motorcycles, tricycles, and quadricycles across the country. The government says the move is expected to sanitize the transport sector and improve road safety. Give you an idea of what happened in Parliament today. Take a look.
According to the National Road Safety Authority, for motorcycles alone in Ghana, generally, this is not only restrained to or referring to only Accra, 4,186. So if you go to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, I have been a witness, and the way and manner their legs are being chopped off, it's terrible. If we do not take care of some of these things, and we only are looking at the issue of drunk driving, and we are not preparing the people as to how to use helmets, the speed limits, where they should drive, where they should not ride to, when they should respect that the traffic light is red and they need to stop, and we do the usual politics, Speaker, we would have ourselves to blame.
Sometimes, especially when traffic lights are on, the red lights are on, motor riders, they think they don't care about it, it doesn't affect them. If you see them driving, if you are not careful, you crash onto them. So, Mr. Minister, deploy your security officers, make sure that there is sanity on our roads. Because
Solomon Apanaba is the national spokesperson for the National Commercial Motor Riders Union. Solo, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Well, the concerns about the dangers that the road users, other road users are exposed to because of Okada riders is legitimate, is it not? So now that there's some legal regime to guide your work, what are you also going to be telling your members?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Let me say good evening to you and your crew, motor riders across the country. Let me appreciate the NDC government and for that matter, John Mahama, for the excellent performance that they have done by promising to legalize and actually doing what they have promised to do. We are so grateful to them. The concern of Ghanaians is legitimate. The only thing we have against the concern is that when you go to FTC as a driver, you can have 20 years experience. You want to drive FTC back, my brother, they are going to retrain you. That is the right thing to do. The concern is that the safety and the danger and the safety. I had the honorable person who just finished talking before you brought me into the conversation, saying that they have to deploy police. The mistake this government will ever do is to prioritize police presence on the road. And the best thing this government can ever do is to prioritize training of the riders. Ensure that riders will begin to ride with certificates. The issuer of the certificate, if there's a problem with the issuer, the law should deal with the issuer. If the person holding the certificate is not able to justify that he actually deserves the certificate, and they are riding as if they were not trained, the riders should be dealt with. So I'm saying that the responsibility as at now, in going forward with this regularized system, responsibility lies on every Ghanaian. Let me take you through this one by one.
Solo, okay, I get your point, but then again, there's a responsibility on you as well. If you are making all of these recommendations, we drive. We see Okada riders. When the lights turn red, you still drive through in a number of cases. That's the discipline we're talking about. And then also some people ride with people seated behind them without helmets. And these are basic things. So I get it that if you're saying that now you certify them. So anybody who does not have a certificate to operate can be arrested or should be arrested, correct?
Yes, that is exactly what we expect to happen.
Okay.
Because we are talking about people driving through the red. If the person sits in my car for one day, he will never do it. You don't need to talk. You don't need press release. You don't need national road safety intervention. You don't need police intervention. Give the person to be in a classroom for 5 hours. He will never drive through the red light. I'm telling you.
Okay, thank you.
I will let him see things with his own eyes. And he himself will be an advocate against the same practice that we are worried about. But until he sits in the classroom, forget about the noise.
All right.
Forget about police presence.
We will see. And this just today has been passed. We'll see how the entire legal framework will be developed to take into consideration your recommendations as well. Solomon, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to go for the script break. When we're back, we'll tell you about something that happened in Kwame Danso in the Bono East region. A court was attacked by young men and they set the accused free. Does this ring a bell? This is not the first time we've seen this in this country. But stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. The Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAG, has ordered the immediate closure of the Kwame Danso District Court in the Sene West District after a violent mob attack on December 10, 2025. In a statement released on December, that's earlier today, the association urged the Chief Justice, Paul Bafoboni, to shut the court until lasting security measures are established. And this is it. This is it, okay? I'm going to show you this video of what happened earlier today when the court was attacked. And this is the courtroom. And take a look at this video of what happened earlier today. The attack of the court that led to these persons we just showed you sustaining various degrees of injury. And this brings back very troubling memories, does it not? But the gentleman you saw in blue there, one of the staff at the court, had to run for his life. The irate youth stormed this court, set the accused person free, right? So the police had to come in. They've issued a statement. The Bono East Regional Police Command has restored calm at Kwame Danso, that is in the Sene West District, following a violent mob attack on the district court and the district police headquarters on Wednesday, 10 December, at about 10:30 a.m. While the Kwame Danso District Court was in session, an irate mob of about 100 youth besieged the court premises. They attacked the persons, and take note of this, it's about 100 young people, youth. They besieged the court premises, attacked persons at the court, and vandalized furniture, funds, and other items on site. The youth also forcibly took away the two accused persons who were standing trial and assaulted the complainant. This is it. They assaulted the complainant, set the two accused persons free. They later attacked two police officers who were on duty at the Kwame Danso Police Headquarters, vandalizing the police station. A reinforcement team from Mateo Division, together with a detachment of the 4th Police Unit, arrived to restore calm. On the instructions of the IGP, the Kwame Danso Police and District Police Station have been closed down, and the personnel have been reassigned to other parts of the region until further notice. The command assures the public that it will pursue and track down all persons connected to this criminal attack, and perpetrators will be identified, arrested, and made to face the full consequences of the law. This is it. This is the statement from the Ghana Police Service. We're going to leave you with this. Earlier today, there was another incident involving a Ghanaian. A U.S. federal grand jury has indicted a Ghanaian national, that's Frederick Kumi, also known as Emmanuel Kojo Ba Obeng or Abu Trika. That's how they call him on social media, on 2 counts for allegedly defrauding elderly Americans of more than $8 million through romance scams. The recently unsealed indictment states that Kumi, 31, from Swedru in the Central Region, was part of a criminal network operating since 2023. The group allegedly used AI tools to create fake identities, build trust with victims on social media and dating platforms, and deceive them into sending money and valuables. Kumi was arrested in Ghana December 11, as earlier today. This is the gentleman, one of his videos that he posted on social media, counting bundles of money. Yeah.
My friends, and we gonna hang have some fun. Wagwan, 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 wagwan.
Yeah, I don't think he's having fun right now, right? Then again. But anyway, that's more news on 3news.com. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do say thank you for joining us. I'm Alfred Okansi. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight.